Hello again, everybody. Big Polly coming to you for another HTFL game, the Hometown Football League. Today we have Detroit and Minnesota coming to you. This is the 10th game of week number 3, which I believe will make the 41st HTFL game we have played so far. We had a couple technical issues with a couple of games, but this is game number 41 of 256. Minnesota, a 3-point favorite. They have beaten so far Green Bay and New Orleans by close margins. Detroit has lost to Chicago and Washington, each within a touchdown. So this should be a better game than what the records would indicate. Detroit at 0-2 and Minnesota at 2-0. Indoors at US Bank Stadium in Minnesota, where they had the Super Bowl a few years ago. Detroit won the toss, will receive. Game being played, like I said, Minnesota being the home team, so I will be coaching them, offensively at least, and maybe a play or two of defense. Matthew Stafford will lead the Lions. Fran Tarkenton out of Georgia will lead the Vikings. George Wilson, who was a coach for the Lions back in the early 60s, will be roaming the sidelines for the Lions, but Grant doing likewise for the Vikings. Vikings in the purple squares with the yellow numbering and lettering. Detroit in the gray squares with the blue numbering and lettering. Watkins back deep for Detroit, and that winds up being a touchback, so the Lions will start 1st and 10 at the 20. Sanders and Taylors are going to be your running backs. That's Barry Sanders. Moore and Johnson, your wideouts. Charlie Sanders at tight end. Brown, Stanfill, Glover, Sewell, Creekmore are going to be your offensive linemen. Matthew Stafford, also out of Georgia, by the way. So we got 2 Georgia Bulldogs at quarterback, one for each team and one from different eras. 1st and 10 from the 20, and we'll put this play into motion. Give to Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders, one of the all-time great runners in NFL history, gained 6. Was just named on that NFL 100 all-time team last fall. And we'll set the Minnesota defense for you. Eller and Dolman at defensive end. This is a very good Minnesota defense. Page and Randall at defensive tackle. Blair, Simeon, Winston at linebacker. Bryant, Rhodes, Browner, Kraus will be your defensive backs. Back to the game. A 2nd and 4 now at the 26. Straight up the middle with Sanders, but we have a penalty.
Offense, number 84, 10-yard penalty.
Moore called for holding, and that'll wipe out a 1st down and make it 2nd and 14. Golden Tate coming into the game. He's out of Notre Dame. And Detroit will put the ball in play from the 16. Stafford in the shotgun. Stafford. And they go to Tate, and he picks up a pass good for 7 yards, whipped down by Bryant. 3rd and 7 now at the 23 for Detroit. Stafford will run, and he gets the 1st down in the scramble and a pickup of 8. 1st and 10, ball at the 31.
Holding defense, number 29, 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
A flea flicker led to an incomplete pass, but Rhodes gets called for holding, and that'll be 5 yards and a 1st down. Jim Gibbons coming into the game at tight end for Detroit. You see him there. Now a 1st and 10 at the 36. Stafford completes it, and that was to Sanders. And he picks up 10, but it'll be short of the 1st down. That's Charlie Sanders, number 80. You'll see him here. No, I'm sorry, that was Barry Sanders. Jim Gibbons had come in at tight end to replace Charlie Sanders. So that was Barry Sanders with the catch. Meanwhile, 2nd and inches at the 46. And that's a long gain. They do the flea flicker again, and it's good for 31 yards. It was Stafford to Sanders, back to Stafford. Throws it to Gibbons, and that was good for 31. Alan Page hurt on the play, so was Rhodes. They will each return in a few plays. A fumble. Fumble on the next snap. And Stafford loses 8 yards. as a Chinese fire drill broke out in the Detroit backfield. 2nd and 18 at the 31. That's a throw to Tate that was caught for 8 yards, so they get the yards lost back. And now it's 3rd and 10 at the 23. That's a throw and a catch to Moore, and Moore picks up 17 yards to the 6-yard line of Minnesota. So Detroit on the move. 10th play of the drive coming up. 1st and goal at the 6. Give is to Sanders, and Sanders gets 4. Rhodes on the stop, and then moves the ball now to the 2 for a 2nd and goal. Taylor straight ahead. He is just short of the goal line. We'll look at him real fast. LT Taylor out of Utah State. I think we have mentioned them in previous games. 3rd and goal, just inches shy of the goal line. To give to Sanders, and Sanders scores. Barry Sanders out of Oklahoma State, and it's 6-0 Detroit. The point after try is good. So Eddie Murray put that through, who would go on and win a Super Bowl or 2 with the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s. And your score now, Detroit 7, Minnesota nothing. Percy Harvin back deep for Minnesota. Out of the University of Florida, and this will be a nice return out to the 31. Blades on the stop. Gain of 28. Setting up the Minnesota offense for you, Peterson and Brown are your running backs. Great wide receiver duo here of Chris Carter and Randy Moss. Steve Jordan will be your tight end, Tarkenton at quarterback, Zimmerman, McDaniel, Tingelhoff, White, and Yeri will be your offensive line. We'll set the Detroit defense for you right away. Porche, Baker, Karras, Brown your front 4. Walker, Schmidt, Williams your linebackers. Larry, Dahl, Hunter, and Quinn are going to be your defensive backs. So you have Larry on one team and you got a Yeri on the other team. Larry and Yeri. 1st and 10, ball to 31. We're going to give it to Peterson and we're going to pitch it right. And that's a nice gain of 7. Larry, not Yeri, makes the tackle for Detroit. Bill Brown, trap right. No gain. We set both the offense and the defense for you. Look at Peterson real fast. He had 97 yards last week in the win over New Orleans. 1 catch out of the backfield for 7 yards. 3rd and 3. We'll hitch it to Jordan. That's good for a catch. 9 yards. Hunter brought him down for Detroit. And it's now 1st and 10 at the 47 with 6:03 left in the opening quarter. We'll go Randy Moss on a long slant. It's caught, but a marker down.
Grabbing the face mask. Defense. Number 28, 5-yard penalty. Automatic. 1st down.
Larry gets called for grabbing the face mask, so that turns into a very big play. Move it all the way down now to the Detroit 23 after the 25-yard catch and the 5-yard face mask. 1st and 10 from there. We're going to go trap left, Adrian Peterson. Nothing doing.
Holding.
Schmidt got
Offense.
to him.
Number 80, 10-yard penalty.
And to make matters worse, Chris Carter called for holding. And it's now 1st and 20. 3 wide in the game, so Percy Harvin's going to come in at wide out, and we'll go to him on a medium slant. Number 16, and he's got the catch, 12 yards. That's Percy Harvin. LeBeau makes the stop. And it's now 2nd and 8. Back to a base formation for a trap right to Bill Brown. Penalty down.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense. Number 76, automatic. 1st down.
That is Brown of Detroit, who gets called for unnecessary roughness. It's now a 1st and goal from the 8. And we will sweep to the left with Adrian Peterson. And he chugs it to the 2. Dahl the tackle. And it's a 1st and goal. I'm sorry, not a 1st and goal, but a 2nd and goal from there. Brown on a dive play. We'll try to get the score right here. Yes, touchdown. Bill Brown. We got Minnesota crowd go wild. It's 7-6. Point after to come. Came and went as Walsh puts it through. Dead even game, 7-7 with 3:30 left opening quarter. Watkins back deep for the kickoff for Detroit, but it will be a touchback. First and 10, Detroit at the 20. Another flea flicker. This is the third flea flicker Detroit has ran. They could start a circus of all these flea flickers, and that was an incomplete. They were looking for Jim Gibbons. Second and 10, ball 20. This give was to Taylor. Altie Taylor picks up a yard. They'll bring Cloyce Box into the game at tight end. We will look at him. It's the third different tight end that Detroit has used in this game already, and it's the first quarter. Tight end wide receiver out of Texas A&M. Third and 9. It's one of those great 50 teams that won the championships.
Pass interference, defense, number 22.
Oh, a first down.
Automatic, first down.
Detroit as Smith gets called for a pass interference. First and 10, ball 28. Slant. Looking for Gibbons. That was incomplete. Second and 10, ball 28. So near the end of the first quarter. Taylor ran to the left side and picked up 6. Third and 4, 34. Screen to Sanders. Sanders has the first down of 6 yards. Browner on the stop for Minnesota. First and 10, ball now at the 40. Sanders again with a catch, 4-yard gain. He's got 2 catches, I beg your pardon, for 10 yards. He's also ran the ball 3 times, 10 yards. Simeon on the stop for Minnesota. It's now a second and 6 at the 44. And that's a screen to Altie Taylor, and he had daylight. Gain of 24, and that's where we're going to leave it at the end of the first quarter. Your score, 7-7. Hello, everybody. Big Paulie coming back to you for the start of the second quarter. Matt Stafford, a hot start, 8 out of 10, 107 yards. Fran Tarkenton, 3 out of 3 for 46, although Minnesota has not seen the ball that much at all so far in this game, but each team has scored on their opening drive. It's 7-7. Detroit looking for more now. First and 10 at the 32 of Minnesota. Pitch is to Sanders. Sanders with a 5-yard gain. Bobby Bryant on the tackle for Minnesota. Second and 5 at the 27. That pass incomplete, looking for Herman Moore. Third and 5 at the 27. Minnesota putting in 5 defensive backs to counter Detroit using 3 wide receivers. And a sack. Eller got his bell rung. Got blindsided by Carl Eller. Stafford will be out a few plays. He'll probably be back by the time Detroit gets the ball next. And Detroit's going to punt from the Minnesota 33, so Minnesota's going to watch for a fake. No, it was a coffin corner punt. Rolling out of bounds at the 1-yard line, so Minnesota will start 99 yards away. We're going to play it to Bill Brown. And that's a gain of 3. Again, game having problems with animations on the right side of the field when that team is backed up deep in its end zone, as we evidenced a couple of nights ago when Otis Anderson had that 97-yard run that none of you saw. Ball to 4, a second and 7, back to Brown again on a draw. This time, no gain. Alex Karras, he of Monday Night Football fame, filled in between Don Meredith stiffs, between 74 to 76. He tackled Brown for no gain, and it's now 3rd and 7. We'll go Randy Moss, short hitch. Caught for a first, but let's see the penalty marker.
Offsides, defense, number 76, 5-yard penalty.
Would have been against Detroit anyway, so it is declined, and now Minnesota with breathing room at their own 12. We'll go Peterson, trap left. That's a nice game for Adrian Peterson for 15. More than doubling his rushing output so far in the game. He came in with that rush with 13, and that 15-yard carry gets him to 28 on 3 carries. We'll go Brown, and we will go trap right. Gain of 4. Larry on the stop. There's a Bob Newhart joke in there somewhere, folks, but I'll let you figure it out. Medium fly to Chris Carter on 2nd and 6. Incomplete. Quinn tipped that one for Detroit, and it's now 3rd and 6. Medium out, right back to Chris Carter. Incomplete, but
offsetting penalties. Repeat, 3rd down.
Play will be repeated. Now a 3rd and 6. We'll go Randy Moss on a short slant. But a sack. Joe Schmidt got it to him. And Minnesota will have to punt on 4th and 12. Bob Lee. We have reserve quarterbacks playing at punter for each team. We got Earl Morrill for Detroit, and we got Bob Lee for Minnesota. He gets this one away nicely, and that is a punt of 44.
Offense, 5-yard penalty.
But Minnesota gets flagged for an offsides on the punt. So Detroit starts at their own 30 with exactly 10 minutes to go in the first half with a 7-7 score. It's Barry Sanders, and Sanders picks up 8 yards. Simeon on the tackle for Minnesota. 2nd and 2. What do you do? Long throw, and it's incomplete. And let's see, who was he looking for? Couldn't tell you from the play description. Okay, 3rd and 2 at the 38. Caught by Moore, and it's a gain of 5. Rhodes on the stop for Minnesota, but Detroit with a fresh set of downs at the 43, 1st and 10. Give to Alty Taylor, and Taylor with a 3-yard gain before Bryant could get to him. Ball to 46 for a 2nd and 7. Pass completed. He threw it into traffic for Cloyce Box, and that's good for 13 yards. Stafford having a very good day so far. 10 out of 14 for 125. Ball moves across the 50 to the Minnesota 41. 1st and 10 from there. Stafford.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 22.
Incompleted to Givens, but there was a flag, and that was pass interference on Paul Krause. So Detroit moves 19 yards further up to the 22 on a 1st and 10 now, but a marker down.
False start. Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 1st down.
The hanky giveth and the hanky taketh away. Stanfill called for a false start. I guess you could say he was offside, but they don't call it that when it's against the offense. Well, you could call it that. 1st and 15 at the 27. And that was a throw to Sanders. They did the flea flicker for a 4th time this half, but it was incompleted. So 2nd and 15 at the 27. Another marker down.
False start. Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
And that's another penalty. The 10th penalty we've had in this first half, and we're a little more than halfway through the 2nd quarter. 2nd and 20, ball to 32. Sanders on a screen pass picks up 14. And that cuts it down to a 3rd and 6 from the 18. Detroit looking to take the lead here. Incomplete.
Roughing the passer.
Oh.
Defense, number 56. Automatic, 1st down.
They get Chris Dolman for roughing the passer. And that moves it half the distance to the Minnesota goal. 1st and goal now at the 9. So Detroit with a good chance to get a score here to put them on the lead. No yards. Winston is out of the game for Minnesota. So the defense now: Eller, Dolman, Page, Randall, Blair, Simeon, McDaniel, Bryant, Rhodes, Browner, and Kraus. Second and goal at the 9. The throw and a catch for a touchdown for Jim Gibbons. That makes it 13-7, and here's your point after. It's good, and the Lions retake the lead at 14-7 with 5:37 to go in the half. Harvin back deep for the Vikes. It was taken instead by Darren Nelson, and that's a 25 return to the 25 or a 19-yard gain. So on the stat line, let's see. Yeah, Minnesota is almost doubled in time of possession right now, 16:05 to 8:31 for Minnesota. Off tackle right, Bill Brown. He chugs ahead for 3 yards. Alex Karras brought him down at the 28. Alex had a brother, Ted, who was an offensive lineman for the Chicago Bears back in the day. 2nd and 7, ball at the 28. Medium out. Randy Moss. That's caught, and it is good for 11. They had Moss double covered, but no fears and no worries as Moss makes the catch. Move it out to the 39 for a 1st and 10. Off tackle right, Adrian Peterson, but a marker down.
False start. Offense, number 80, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Chris Carter again gets called for the false start, and back up Minnesota 5. 1st and 15 at the 34 now. We'll go Brown on a dive. Caught Detroit playing soft up the middle, and that's a gain for 6 yards. Quinn on the tackle. Now a 2nd and 9. We'll go Moss on a short slant. Incomplete. And we're going to dump it off instead to Peterson, but Peterson could not hold on. 3rd down and 9. 3 wide in the game. Man in motion. We're going to go to Steve Jordan, medium hitch. And that is caught by Jordan for 14. Larry on the stop for Detroit. Move it to the 46 of Detroit as Minnesota crosses the 50 with 2:58 left to go. Screen to Bill Brown. And Brown, with running room, he picks up 15. And that'll take it to the 2-minute warning. It's 14-7 Detroit. Long fly, Randy Moss will try to get it here. And that's incomplete. Larry broke it up. Off tackle right, Adrian Peterson on 2nd down. That's a nice gain if it holds.
Holding, offense.
No, it will not hold.
73, 10-yard penalty.
Larry Yeri again. And that's now 2nd and 20. We're going to do a medium hitch to Chris Carter. Tarkenton could scramble, and he's not shy of scrambling. And he picks up 4, and Minnesota's going to burn a timeout, their first. Detroit has 3 left, now Minnesota with 2. 3rd and 16. We're going to go long slant to Randy Moss. Incomplete.
Illegal shift. Offense, number 30, 5-yard penalty.
And the penalty will be declined. And Minnesota's going to have to punt with only about a 31% chance of making the field goal. Bob Lee will try a pooch punt, which goes for a touchback. Well, we've seen Detroit go on 2 long drives for their touchdowns. Let's see if they can get one quick with 1:22 left in the half. They lead 14-7. Throw incomplete.
Holding, offense, number 53, 10-yard penalty.
Glover called for holding. Back up the Lions 10. It's now 1st and 20 at the 10. Incomplete. Stafford throwing that one away. 2nd and 20 now from the 10. A sack by Randall. That's 2 sacks on the day for him. And Minnesota will burn a timeout. They have 1 left. 1:09 left in the half. A 3rd and 26 now from the Detroit 4. Stafford throwing from his end zone, and it's incomplete. Detroit will set up Minnesota, I should say, will set up a return here with 1:04 to go. And a punt taken on the Detroit side of the field. West moved forward for 3 yards. And from the 47 to the 44 of Detroit. We'll go Randy Moss. And we will get a medium slant here. Incomplete. Larry on the coverage. About Brown on a screen. That is good. And that is good for 9 yards. 3rd and 1. Quickly to the line go to Vikings. Medium out, Randy Moss. It's good. That's a gain of 16. Shows the clock to 16 seconds left, and they stop it as Moss got out of bounds. We'll go to Jordan. Medium slant. Peterson over the middle. A dump off. He gets to the 1-yard line. 7 seconds left. Minnesota will have to call a timeout here. First and goal from the 1. I'm sure they would love to go for it, but they're going to settle for the 3 points. Here's Walsh from 18. It's good. And it's 14-10. 3 seconds left in the half. Here comes the squib kick. Taken by Atkins. And Atkins returns at 17 yards. And that's your half. Detroit 14, Minnesota 10. Back with you to start the second half now. Programming notes are as follows. Franchise Hockey Manager tonight at 9, maybe 9:15 if this game runs long. We'll be doing a Hartford Whalers game of the 79-80 season, and they'll be playing the Pittsburgh Penguins in a game. Featured game of the week, and we might be moving to doing games of the month and just doing monthly updates because it seems I can only get around to it like once every week, and I want to keep the time frame going faster than the real time frame that I'm putting these updates up on that. So that'll be later on tonight at either 9 or 9:15. We've got Grand Slam Wrestling coming to you Saturday. Farmer Burns against Jerry the King Lawler for the GSW World Championship. And I will be doing another one of my videos that I did State of the Game videos, and I'll be doing that on Sunday. And we will have games, no HTFL games Sunday, but when we complete week number 3, I'm going to take the 3rd, the 4th, and July 5th off. And we'll have a new schedule starting with week number 4 that I will be mentioning then. Okay. Detroit with the 14-10 lead over Minnesota. Minnesota outgaining them 185 to 171. We had 14 penalties in the first half, so a lot of laundry on the field for most of this game. Stafford having probably the better game at quarterback, 12 for 19, 148. Tarkenton not bad either, 10 for 15, 137. It's Harvin back deep to start this game, doing the honors, but it's going to be taken by an up back. And the up back gets it out to the 38. It was West. And Minnesota's going to start from there. Trap right, Adrian Peterson. Gain of 4. Bubba Baker on the stop for the Lions. Will go Moss, medium slant on 2nd and 6. Tarkenton instead scrambles. And that was one thing he was good at with the Vikings. He was an excellent scrambler. And he gains 15 yards. We'll go Carter short out. That's caught. And Carter with a little bit of running room, and he gains 11 yards. So very quickly, the Vikings at the Detroit 32. Only took them 3 plays to get 30 yards. We'll go Brown on a dive. But a marker down. Hold on.
False start. Offense. Number 64, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That is McDaniel, Randall McDaniel, who would later go on and play for the Buccaneers on that World Championship team of 2002. And they lose 5 yards on that penalty for a 1st and 15 now. Trap right, Adrian Peterson. Peterson with running room. And he picks up 16. Got the first down all to himself, needing only one play. He has 5 carries for 48 yards, 1 catch out of the backfield for 18. We're going to go, let's see here. How about a jet sweep to Randy Moss? Oh, and that was a play that backfired. Loss of 7. Schmidt brought him down. And you can move Detroit, Minnesota back 8. 2nd and 17 from the 28. Liking Adrian Peterson here on a trap right. He should get a nice gain with Detroit playing back. That was a gain of 7. Now a 3rd and 10. We're going to go to Moss, and we'll go medium slant on him. Instead, they dump it to Peterson. Peterson will be close to the first, but short after Dahl tackles him at the 12. 4th and 1. A 65% chance of making the... I'm going to go for it here. And we're going to go Brown. I think they're going to expect the ball to go to Peterson. We're going to go Brown on a dive. He's got a 65% odds of getting the first down. And he does get the first down. A gain of 3. Move it to the 9. Okay. On this next play, it's going to be a short hitch to Steve Jordan. Incomplete, as Jordan could not hold on. A 2nd and goal from the 9. 10th play of the drive now. We're going to go Peterson, trap right. Adrian Peterson picks up 5 yards. And it's now at the 4. Critical play here. 3rd down and goal. We'll go Randy Moss, short hitch. Number 81. And Moss was hurt on the play. And will return in a few plays. So Percy Harvin goes in favor of him. But it's 4th down, and the Vikings will kick. Cut it to a 1-point game. Here's Blair Walsh. And he gets it through from 21. 14-13 now, Detroit leading. Here's Watkins back deep for the kickoff. And it's another touchback. 1st and 10 at the 20. The give to Taylor. Alty Taylor picks up 7 before Dolman gets to him on the tackle. 2nd and 3 at the 27. Barry Sanders. And you know he can run. And it's a gain of 12, but he was hurt on the play. And he's going to stay in the game, it looks like. Undisclosed injury, we are hearing. 1st and 10 at the 39. Give is to Sanders. Sanders just back to the line. In fact, he loses a yard. Carl Eller makes the tackle. Maybe Sanders still gimpy from whatever injury he suffered. 2nd 11 from the 38. That's completed to Cloyce Box, and he gains 12 yards for a first. Ball resting right on that NFL crest at midfield. 1st and 10 at the 50. That's a throw and a catch to Johnson, and Johnson with a 9-yard gain to the 41. Look at Johnson real fast. Calvin Johnson out of Georgia Tech, who kind of like Barry Sanders. He retired, and a lot of the experts thought he retired too soon, but that was back when the league was first dealing with the whole concussion issue, and Charles Johnson just didn't want to risk continuing to play, so he decided to retire. First, 2nd and 1 at the 41. I nearly said it was 1st down. It was not. They give to Barry Sanders, and Sanders with running room again. Pick up a 13 before Bryant shoves him out of the bounds. Sanders has 9 carries, 47 yards on the day. 3:52 left in the third quarter. First and 10 at the 28. As Detroit is again going driving. As Alty Taylor picks up a 4-yard gain, Alan Page knocks him down. Second and 6 at the 24. Calvin Johnson was the receiver for Detroit, not Charles. Okay, my mistake, folks. Gain of 4 as Alty Taylor makes another nice little gain. Dolman knocks him out at the 20. And it'll be a 3rd and 2 from there. 3 wide receivers in the game for Detroit again. Otherwise, I would have given you Alty Taylor's stats. That's a catch by Tate. And to pick up a 13, and Detroit keeping the drive going. Ball now at the 7. Taylor, no gain. He has 8 carries for 27 yards and a catch for 24. Second and goal now from the 7. The give to Sanders, and Sanders has 6 points. Also the end of the quarter, so we'll kick the extra point before taking our break, and it's good. Detroit 21, Minnesota 13 as we begin quarter number 4. 15 more minutes to play unless we go to overtime. Minnesota 2-0 in a hole here. They trail by 8, which is the most points you can get on a touchdown. If you go for 2, it's 21-13. Percy Harvin, the guy who could score a touchdown on his own on the kickoff, is back deep for Minnesota. Short kickoff, it goes to Harvin. Let's see what he could do, and he runs it all the way out to the 44 after a 29-yard return. So Harvin caught it and took off, and Detroit had a little trouble getting to him. So 56 yards away from a score that would tie the game, possibly, is Minnesota. And they're going to go for the gusto here, and they're going to look long for Randy Moss. Off the hands of Moss, incomplete. So now it's 2nd and 10, and Minnesota has to go to plan B. Pitch to the right, Adrian Peterson. And he's got a nice gain. He's got a first down and a pickup of 14. 8 carries on the day for Peterson for 74 yards. To Bill Brown on a dive. Just to keep things moving and keep Detroit guessing as to what you would do offensively. 2nd and 7 will go Jordan on a short slant. Gain of 11. Hunter on the tackle for the Lions. And with 13:09 left in the fourth quarter, Minnesota has a 1st and 10 at the 28. Trap right, Bill Brown. No gain. Larry comes up and makes the stop. And it's now 2nd and 10. We'll go Randy Moss on a medium fly. That is caught. A gain of 17. Larry has made 10 tackles on the day for the Lions. And it's now 1st and 10 at the 11. We'll go Peterson, trap right. Peterson, a running machine today. 8 more yards. He's at 90. He's at 82 on the day. But he's been getting a lot of good gains. He's been averaging a little over 9 a carry. We'll go right back to him on a dive play here on 2nd down and 2. But there's a marker down.
Offsides, defense.
Against
Number
Detroit,
91.
Porsche. And that'll wind up being a 1st and goal now at the 1. So we're going to put Tarkenton in, quarterback sneak. Figure he could handle it. He does. Touchdown. Fran Tarkenton. It is now 21-19, and you don't want to wait around and just kick an extra point here. I'm sure they would want to go for 2. We're going to go short pass, and we're going to give it to Chris Carter. And it's good. Carter muscles his way into the end zone, catching it shy of the goal line. Folks, we have a dead even game, 21-21 with 10:13 left. Watkins back deep for the Lions, and it's another touchback. 1st and 10, Detroit at their own 20. Give to Barry. Barry Sanders with another nice game, 20 yards. He's at now, see if that is correct, 74 on the day. And Detroit with 109 yards rushing on the day, and Minnesota with 123. They have 302 total as Minnesota, and Detroit 271. Pretty much an even game. Each team with 8 penalties. So we had 16 penalties in the game. 1st and 10 from the 40. Give to Taylor. Taylor back to the line, and that's all. McDaniel on the tackle for the Vikings. 2nd and 10 from the 40. They give it to Taylor again. He gains 2. Randall on the stop for the Vikes. Setting up a 3rd and 8 now from the 42. And a touchdown for Minnesota.
The previous play is under review.
Perhaps. We'll see.
Upon further review, the runner was down by contact.
Okay, here's what happened. There was a nice gain to box to the 37 of Minnesota, but it looked like there was a fumble. Paul Krause stripped the ball out. Rhodes picked it up, ran it back for a score, but that score was called back because the runner was downed by contact. So in HTFL play, each team gets 1 challenge, but all turnovers and all scores, in this case both happened, can be looked at by the replay booth. 1st and 10, Detroit has it at the Minnesota 37 with 7:45 left. This is to Taylor. Taylor loses 4, and Dolman was hurt on that last play. His return is probable. So Hunter comes in at defensive end to replace him. Take a look at Hunter real fast. That is Danielle Hunter out of LSU. A 2nd and 14 from the 41. A throw, looking for Jim Gibbons, but he couldn't hang on. 3rd and 14. Incomplete. This time Stafford was looking for Calvin Johnson. Smith was all over him. So Minnesota will get the ball back on the punt. We'll just let it roll here. Take our chances. And that's a touchback. Calvin Johnson. Try. Okay. Just wanted to show you Calvin Johnson's profile real fast out of Georgia Tech. Alrighty, folks. Kind of burns me a little bit that I called him Charles Johnson. Ball to 20 for a 1st and 10. Trap right, Adrian Peterson. Peterson, another head of steam, and he picks up 15 more. He's at 97 yards on the day now. He goes looking for a 100-yard game. It's now 1st and 10 at the 35. We go to Peterson again. This time 2 yards. It's a season high for him to get to 99 yards on the game. 1 more and he's got 100. 2nd and 8. Short pass to Bill Brown. 6:22 to go. That's a catch. And Brown picks up 11. 3 catches, 35 on the day for Brown to go of his 11 carries for 28. All right, let's see if we can get Peterson his 100 yards here. There it is. That's 5. That's 104 for Peterson. Schmidt missed a tackle, and then Hunter brought him down. Ball to 47 for a 2nd and 5. And we'll go Randy Moss on a long slant. It's caught. Gain of 25. And that gives Randy Moss a 100-yard game, 102. Ball to 22 of Detroit with 4:16 to go. 1st and 10. Peterson, a gain of 1. Porche on the stop. 2nd tight end coming into the game for Minnesota. That is Rudolph. We'll profile him real fast. Mr. Kyle Rudolph out of Notre Dame. Peterson again. 2nd and 9. He's going to trap it to the right. Another nice gain, close to the first. Picks up 8 of those 9 yards needed. And with 2:50 left, it's going to be a 3rd and 1. They're going to bring in another running back here. And it looks like it'll be Chuck Foreman seeing action. And they will go to him off tackle left. And he's short. Schmidt gets to him. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. First, we'll put Peterson back in the game. 4th and 1 with 2 minutes exactly to go in regulation time, and it is 21 all. Minnesota will kick the field goal. Here's Walsh from 30. And
Holding.
that's going to come back.
10-yard penalty.
Blair Walsh, of course, probably most famous for missing a field goal against Seattle in a wild card playoff game that would have given them the easy win. Instead, now it's a 50-50 shot for Walsh to hit this from 40. And it's no good. So Lady Luck may be riding with the Lions here. They have a minute 52. They have 3 timeouts. So does Minnesota. A 1st and 10 at the 30. Stafford will throw, and he finds Sanders, Charlie Sanders, and that's a gain of 21. And just like that, one play, they're in Minnesota territory at the 49 with a minute 43 to go. Stafford. Incomplete. Again looking for Charlie Sanders. Krause on the stop, or on the defensive coverage. 2nd and 10 at the 49. That is an out to Johnson, Calvin Johnson, who gains 8. Ball at the 41. 3rd and 2. But a marker down.
False start. Offense. Number 81, 5-yard penalty.
Against Johnson and against Detroit. So move them back 5. 3rd and 7 at the 46. With $1:26 on the clock. Incomplete. Looking for Golden Tate. So now Detroit will have to punt. Minnesota's going to watch for a fake here. Instead, they go to the coffin corner, and it's out at the 16 for a 30-yard punt. Minnesota has to go, I would say, about 55 yards to get in the field goal range. And we'll go medium hitch to Chris Carter. Minnesota with 3 timeouts. And that's a good catch, and they'll use one of them there. They had Carter double covered. And it was still good for a catch. Ball to 28. 1st and 10. We'll go right to Randy Moss on a medium fly. And it's caught by Moss. 17 yards. A fumble, but Moss picked up his own fumble. And Minnesota will bang another timeout. They have 1 left with 60 seconds on the clock. Screen to Bill Brown. On 1st and 10. That's good for 14 yards. And Fran Tarkenton gesturing at everybody. Go to the line, go to the line. Medium out, Chris Carter with 47 seconds to go. Oh, that's a catch. 14 yards. Stahl on the stop. Clock did not stop. Sure they want to get one more play in. Moss, medium fly. Off the hands of Moss, and that's his 2nd drop of the day, according to the Dave Koch sports statisticians. And now you got 11 seconds left. Sweep right to Adrian Peterson, and hope the play doesn't go 11 seconds. That's a nice play at 17. How much time's left? None. Oh, they ran the clock out. They swept the ball, but it took 11 seconds, and we will go to overtime with the score tied at 21. Overtime rules in the HTFL, very simple. First team to score wins. It's the old school NFL overtime system, and you have 15 minutes to get a score. Nobody gets a score. The game is a tie. Watkins back deep. Detroit won the overtime toss, and it's another touchback. So the kickoff squad doing a yeoman's effort for the Vikings. Now it's 1st and 10 from the 20 for Detroit as we start overtime. And it's a throw and a catch to Moore for 15. 19 for 30 is Stafford for 247. 1st and 10 at the 35. Give to Stafford, and Browner injured on the play as Sanders did not gain anything. Blair on the tackle. And let's see. Defensive backfield is now Bryant, Rhodes, Griffith, Krause, and Smith. 2nd and 10 from the 35. And that was a throw underneath to Sanders and a gain of 12. First down. Detroit with a new set of downs. Ball at the 47. Give to Sanders. Sanders has the speed to end the game right here, and he gains 9. 2nd and 1 from the Minnesota 44. They give to Sanders again. Sanders picks up another 7 yards. He's at 90 on the day on 14 carries. 1st and 10 at the Minnesota 37. Is spelling trouble for the Vikings. Alty Taylor with a 9-yard run. They could not stop the running game of Detroit right now, who's gained 132 yards on 27 carries as a team, 4.9 average. 2nd and 1 at the 28. Another first down for the Lions as Sanders picks up 5. Carl Eller brought him down. 1st and 10 at the 23. Sanders underneath for another 11-yard gain. That moves it to the 12, and they're going to try for the field goal here. Eddie Murray will try to win it from 29 yards out, give Detroit their first win of the season. And there it is. Detroit 24, Minnesota 21 in overtime. Overtime taking 5 minutes and 33 seconds. So that's your ball game. Detroit 24-21 in overtime. I would say the player of the game might have been Stafford, Matthew Stafford, 21 for 32, 270 yards, 1 touchdown, gave up 3 sacks. The line of his gave up 3 sacks. Tarkenton with a great game and defeat, as did Adrian Peterson. We'll take up the team stats. 18 penalties in the game, which is a little much. No turnovers in the game, so it was well played. Time of possession wound up being even after Detroit got off to a 2-1 start after the first 24 minutes. They had the ball 16 of the first 24 minutes, so Minnesota did a good job catching up. Net offense, 443 for Minnesota, 387 for Detroit, but Detroit has the win. And there's the statistics on that. Minnesota needing the full 8 points to tie the game that you can get on a touchdown. And then Detroit drove down the field and got the field goal to win it. 24-21. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we will have Chicago and Green Bay. In Green Bay. And Green Bay is favored to win that by 8. Then Saturday at 8 o'clock, it'll be Denver and Kansas City from Mile High City. And then we come back Monday with San Francisco and Seattle. Again, your final in overtime, Detroit 24, Minnesota 21. This has been Big Paulie coming to you. I hope you enjoyed today's game. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye for now, everybody.